Hello, we're going to talk a little bit about the 10-day review report in VinSolutions CRM. And we're lucky to have the gentleman who actually designed this custom report, Mario. Would you like to tell us what you did with this report, how dealers can use it?
I would love to, and also want to give credit where credit is due. This is really a collaboration of multiple years and multiple performance managers, as well as a lot of behind-the-scenes work with the reporting team to put this tool together for our dealers. But the reason why we built something like this is to give managers an easy way to see where their time can be most effective and efficient. Because if I'm starting to work with a dealer and I ask a manager, how do you currently ensure that your opportunities are getting followed up with? Typically they say, well, I go through the desk log, or I go through the showroom visit log, or we watch, task completion, or things of that nature. But the problem with that is you can't really tell what's going on with that customer until you have to drill into it and look at the notes and history and all of that, versus if we can give you a tool like this, it just visualizes what needs attention. And it's as simple as red, yellow, green. Green is good. Green means that we have followed up with that opportunity or made contact with that customer recently. Yellow is starting to be a concern. That's where we would coach managers to want to be involved, because if we get involved when it's yellow, it keeps them from going orange and red. With the old adage that time kills car deals, right? It's still true to this day. Now there might be reasons why we're not following up, but if we don't, so as in this example, the top unsold showroom visit is all orange. Maybe there's a reason why we're not following up with that customer. Maybe they're in a long-term process, or if you recognize the name of that customer, then you don't need to click on it. But if you're surprised that the salesperson hasn't followed up with the customer, that's something we want to investigate. So this report is going to give you a one-stop shop to see everything that basically needs your attention. And from there, we have some specific goals. Our first goal is going to be in kind of the middle of the report, days since last attempted contact. Our first goal is we want to keep that column green. That means that we're executing pretty consistent follow-up on these opportunities. And then from there, we're going to want to see, okay, well, if we're trying and we're not making contact, what's happening there? So as an example, this second, and it's, this is grouped by salesperson. So we can see this first salesperson in an instant. If I was a GM or a manager, I might not have time to drill into this report and look at these customers individually, but I can tell in a second which of my salespeople need some coaching and which managers need to, I need to have conversations with to see what's going on with that salesperson. But the next group of salesperson's opportunities, we can see that they're all green for following up. They're zeros. They followed up with everybody today. But there's some of those customers that we're not making contact with. And when that's happening, we want to look at the next set of columns, which is communication channels. We've talked a lot about data capture, and we've talked a lot about productivity in our previous segments. This kind of puts all of that in one place. It's going to show you, are we using all forms of communication to make contact with the customer? And do we have the data, right? It's going to show us, can we email them? Have we opted them in for texting? Did we get a phone number? And if not, then we need to address those in the moment and get those customers, that data collected. And you might be wondering, well, why are we only looking at 10 days? There are other versions that are available that are different time periods, but in my experience, I have never opened up this 10-day report and had it be perfect. And until we can execute cleanly on 10 days, why are we trying to manage 20 days or 30 days?
Right. No, it doesn't make
sense. Because I think you guys would agree, the vast majority of car deals happen in the first week-ish of getting that opportunity. And another unique thing about this report is it's managed by exception. And what I mean by that is if we schedule an appointment with these customers, they come off of this list, right? So these are all active customers, so they're not lost or sold, that we have not set appointments with. And this first top section is unsold showroom visits in the last 10 days. In this store, that's 83 opportunities. That's a lot to manage. And if you're not using a report like this, it's almost impossible for a manager to try to wrap their arms around 83 unsold showroom visits by clicking through the desk log and looking at each one of them to see if we followed up and set a be-back appointment. Other sections of the report that we won't necessarily go through in detail today are unsold appointments in the last 10 days, phone leads with no appointments in the last 10 days, contacted internet leads, in the last 10 days with no appointments and uncontacted internet leads, so that you can visually see what's going on with all of your active leads in one place and effectively manage those opportunities by engaging in the ones that have turned yellow. And all we would need to do is click on the blue link next to that customer's name. It'd open up a new tab. It'd allow us to drill into that customer and inspect what we expect to be happening. Maybe there's a reason why we're not following up. If the customer's 10,000 upside down and they have bad credit, well, probably the salesperson's not going to follow up with them anymore. Maybe we need to give that opportunity to somebody else, or get a finance manager involved, or mark the thing lost and move on with life. Don't keep it active. Just cut bait and move on to a customer that can buy a car. But it's been really effective for a lot of dealers. The other thing that a lot of stores have found some value in is having this be automatically emailed to the management group Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, to keep it top of mind, to remind them to, hey, open that up and take a look at it and make sure that the team's doing what we expect them to be doing.
Does that resonate? Is that what you're finding in your dealerships?
100%. If it wasn't for being shown this report, a lot of dealers see a ton of value in it. For the most part, it breaks down who. We talked about that before. I mean, you might be in a position where you have a low conversion rate, whether it's appointments or feedback visits or whatever. This highlights who that is. For an example, the other day I was talking to a dealer that said they were struggling. I pulled up this report and it showed one salesperson had majority of the leads, and it was all yellow or orange and red. Like, they're not following up with them, nor are they getting the email addresses or the texting opt-in. So even if you scroll down on this report, if you had a chance to, look at the phone. Can we communicate with them? Are we putting a vehicle into the system? All the things that us on this panel have been talking about that lead to more sales is, can the system communicate with them properly?
I think that's a really good point. The at-a-glance nature seems like it would make it to be easy to prioritize.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge.
And it calls out the problem. Good. It's a problem. Good. Fix it. Listen, the last thing I'll say about this is we in our automotive industry are amazing at fixing stuff all day long. All we do is fix broken stuff, and we deliver bad news to people all day long. That's what we do. All we got to do is work on our business now. It's a problem. Good. Go fix it. That's preventing you from selling more cars. Like at this example right at the top, you see all the yellow and the orange? Go fix it. Have a conversation. What are you doing? Why aren't you following up? Let me help you. Don't wait for the opportunity to come where you have to do something. Be proactive. You're a manager for a reason.
I know Angie has a more simplified version of this that you use with your dealers as well, right?
I do. I mean, if we're focusing on, let's just say, internet leads active for the last 30 days, we've got lead breakdown with color reporting. In each of these reports, we can find them and or create them for you separately. We have a really great reporting team that works behind the scenes. For me, if I'm looking at this report, and Mario and I differ on it quite a bit, it's too much for me. I look at it and it's just as I said, it's too much. I need things that are linear and segmented. So if you feel that way too, as managers out there, let us know. We can help you find these separate reports or help you build a report that's going to give you what you need, and maybe a simplified version or, just one of these small segments on here.
So, work with your performance manager to find a report that's as close to what you're looking for as possible. And if it's just not something, if you have an idea that you would like to have created and it's something that you really think would be effective and helpful and you're going to use it, then your performance manager can work with the reporting team to try to see if we can establish something like that for you.
So if a dealer wants to get one of these reports, their best route is to talk to their performance manager?
Correct.
Of
Yep.
course.
Okay.
Yep.
Something I also want to highlight, when we get on, performance managers, get on a call with you, the reports that we're sharing with you in these segments, this is what we look at to try to bring value to you.
Yeah.
And we're sharing this with you so you have the upper hand to be more in sync with your store. I look at this report before I jump on my call so I know what the problems are ahead of time. So I can show you, like, this is the area of our opportunity and this is how I found it. And we're giving this vantage point to you.
Yeah. And I was going to also mention that there are some ways to allow salespeople to access this type of reporting without giving them full reporting access, which would be through the utilization of dealer dashboards. So if that's something that's of interest, to your store, that's something that we can have created for you as well. I even have some more aggressive stores where the opportunity can go out of protection. So what I mean by that is, if Johnny doesn't want to follow up with his unsold showroom visits and it turns yellow, then Sam can pick up the phone and say, hey, saw you came in a few days ago and worked with Johnny. I'm a sales partner. Wanted to see if you had any questions.
You got a dealership that does that, right?
Yeah. And
if it's yellow, it's up for grabs.
Yep. And that self-motivates the team then to keep their area green. But if anything, those aren't the salesperson's opportunities, right? They're the owner's opportunities. And if the salesperson doesn't want to follow up, somebody has to, whether it's the manager or another salesperson, however you have things structured. It's our jobs as managers. If I were to ask a sales manager, what's your role? What do you do for the store? If they say, they probably say like I desk deals, I do dealer trades, I do training. Those are great answers, and they're true. To me, the number one answer is accountability, right? It's the secret sauce of every dealership. It's what most stores struggle with because it's difficult, right? Also in an era of staffing issues, and we don't want to upset anybody, and it's tough. So you have to find that balance. But their job as a sales manager is to make sure the salesperson's showing up on time, that they have product knowledge, that they're dressed appropriately, and that they're following up with the opportunities to the standards of ownership. And this report visualizes that follow-up for them so that it can make it as easy as possible for them to increase that level of accountability, make sure that the tasks are being executed to the standards, and ultimately find some opportunity to set some more appointments and sell some more cars.
So just on that topic of accountability, a moment ago you mentioned this sort of jump ball scenario. Anytime one of these fields gets to yellow, it becomes anybody's potential lead.
Yep.
And we heard a little bit earlier about the idea of incentivizing contact data capture. You get 100% completion, you might get some type of cash incentive. I'm wondering if amongst your clients, you see any other ways to hold teams accountable. And maybe, Angie, do you have any examples of that from your own clients?
Sure. It's really simple. It's plan, execute, and measure. So if we are at the point where we are measuring how well a team is doing on a specific metric, we'll just say maybe it's call activity or appointment setting. If we don't hit them, we either have to incentivize or there has to be a consequence associated with it. For me, I've noticed that the two things that are working the best as an incentive, we're going to spiff them. They're going to get some money, or they're either going to get maybe an additional half day. Maybe they leave early for a day. As a consequence, we're going to take away any internet opportunities that they have for the next week. They just get pulled out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Because frankly, if you can't handle the customers that we're giving you in the first place, why should we continue giving more?
Right.
I have this one group that does a very good job of this, and they use this report. But what the biggest thing that we're talking about is how do we change the culture of our showroom, right? And we're up against a lot of issues, as Mario just said, and as you just said, Ange. The biggest issue we have is how do we change that? And this is what one dealership did. He took all of his top salespeople out to lunch, and he told them that he had a job to do. And his job is to make sure that we make the store profitable, and we follow up, and we do X, Y, and Z. And he told them that the management team is going to start taking 40 minutes a day, and we're going to take one manager off the desk, and they're going to follow up with all the customers that came in that didn't buy. And they used one of these reports here. And during that questions, they asked them, has anybody reached out to you? If the answer is no, it's no longer your customer. And they would give it to one of the top salespeople. Now, he also told the top salespeople, I'm going to give you every opportunity, but if you don't do your job, I'm giving your customer to somebody else. But, he says, I'll be very fair, but I'm not going to treat everybody the same. I'm going to be fair to everybody.
Right.
Because you're not going to treat someone that sells you 30, 40 cars a month the same as a 6-car guy. You're going to lean more toward that 30-car guy, but you got to be fair in some way as a manager, as a leader. So they call every manager in the morning at 9 o'clock, one manager calls, noon another manager calls, and at 4 o'clock a different manager calls. And they follow up on every single customer that comes in that doesn't buy using this report. The notes are right there in the center, and it gives them a very easy opportunity. Are they doing their job? So they ask them like 5 or 6 questions, and if the answer is no, the manager handles it, moves forward. But that's something that changed their culture of their showroom. You want salespeople to follow up with them, then we have to institute the change. You as a manager, are you gonna keep it or are you gonna break it? Are you gonna be a leader or are you gonna maintain things the same? You wanna, as a manager, as a leader, you wanna create policy. And that's a policy that really worked for them, using a report like this, and it changed their culture of the showroom. Guess what? More BBACs, they had more sales, and guess who's following up with all their customers? The salespeople.
Yeah.
So we see it every day. You're not getting a payment until you get the email address and you get the opt-in, and the first busy day it all goes out the window because let's just sell the car. At that moment, we just lost all the momentum that we built up, and it's something that's very difficult, and that's what Performance Manager brings to your dealerships. And we help you hold accountability and get you to your goal. Our job's to make you look good. That's our job.
And the other thing that I think I want to point out here that separates this type of reporting versus the other reporting that we've talked about in our previous segments is everything else we kind of have talked about is it's water under the bridge for the most part. In the sense of, if our internet closing ratio isn't up to par, if our productivity isn't there, we're going to see that in reporting, but you can't really do anything about it with those reports. It just shows you where you have been or where you're at. This type of reporting is how you can actually move the needle with selling more cars. Because I think we all can agree that if we follow up with our customers, we're going to sell more cars. Instead of waiting for them to call us to say, hey, I know you haven't followed up with me, but I wanted to still follow up and say I would like to move forward with buying that car. I mean, we wish it would work like that, but it just doesn't. We know that we have a greater chance that that customer's not going to buy somewhere else if we're following up and answering their questions and figuring out what the objection is. This type of reporting puts it all in one place, color codes it so that you can divide and conquer by team or by inventory type or lead type. If you're a BD agent, BD manager, and you want to make sure that your internet leads that have come in the last 10 days and didn't buy cars, probably want to make sure that those people are getting followed up with, especially
right.
if the showroom visit follow-up process is built to have the salesperson follow up. Well, your paycheck depends upon them actually buying a car. Probably behooves you to make sure that follow-up is getting done, and if it isn't, you might want to pick up the phone yourself
Right.
and follow up.
Absolutely.
So this report all can, allows you to see all of that in one place.
Angie, I'm just kind of wondering, when we talk about like a plan for a dealership, how should leadership roll that plan out to their team?
I think it makes sense to obviously create your plan, put it in writing, and each of your sales members, whether it's your actual salesperson team or your leadership team or maybe even a BDC customer care, it needs to be in writing and everybody has to sign it. But we also have to coach and train from the top down. If you as a leader are not willing to make that change yourself, then your sales team is not going to be willing to make that change, or your customer care BDC teams. So for me, it's put in writing. There are genuine aspects and metrics of things that we should cover, and a consequence listed just right off the bat.
And we can, if any members of the audience want to take a look at a sample written device that you've put together that you use with your dealers, they can contact their performance manager. We're showing it on screen right now, and they can just get it from their PM.
It was given to me by a performance manager when I first started. So I'm not going to take that credit, but yes, 100%.
Hey, isn't that how we all wound up where we're at today? Is
Yeah.
by someone helping us and showing us something, or we heard something from somebody and used it to increase opportunity in a store. I mean, we're all success from the people we surround ourselves with in our industry.
Absolutely.
So to that point, we've talked a lot about the value of a performance manager and the sort of insights that you can bring to dealers from literally coming from across the country. If a dealer is looking to get a little bit more familiar with this report or other reports or, VinCRM in general, are there any other resources that any of you would recommend? any sort of training they could take or pursue on their own?
Yeah, in our upper right-hand corner, we have a little avatar. You can click on that, and there's a training portal. In our training portal, we have live trainers that will train salespeople, managers, reporting. We have different silos that you can take for managers, for insights, for building reports, for desking deals, for adding a customer in the system. So we have a whole e-academy, we call it, for you to use as a resource.
I would really suggest that if it isn't already, be part of your onboarding process.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
If they have to get OEM certified before they can take their first step, we'll probably want to make sure that they know how to log that customer in the CRM and how to send a phone call and use the mobile app and all of that as well. So
They have dealers that have to do it every month. It's mandatory for their job. Salespeople have to take the e-academy.
And just create those good habits right away.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to go back on that training and say, this is how you should have done it all along. So definitely part of your onboarding process. But make sure that it's followed up with action by the leadership team as well.
Thank you. And so we hope that this segment was useful for everyone in the audience on the 10-day review. This is one of the custom reports you can get in VinSolutions CRM. And if you haven't already checked out our other segments on the different reports, we do recommend those as well. Thank you.